Welcome on back, everybody, to episode 78 of Streaming with the Mouse, where today we're going to have a nice discussion on episodes 1 and 2 of season 2 of High School Musical, the musical, the series. Sit back, relax. This is Streaming with the Mouse. Welcome on back, everybody, to episode 78 of Streaming with the Mouse. My name's Kim, and joining me, as always, is my good pal Cliff, big red to my Ricky. Cliff, how are you?
Why am I big red?
You just are. You just are, Cliff.
I can't even dance. That's a horrible comparison.
It's fine. Just let it be. They're best buds.
I am good, though. Very excited to talk about this. Technically, when you're watching this, the third episode will have already come out, but there's plenty to talk about with the first two episodes. But I'm excited nonetheless.
Yeah. This is going to be a little quick casual conversation. I don't foresee this being too long, but just where we're going to talk about our thoughts on the first two episodes of High School Musical, the musical series, season 2, episodes 1 and 2. But Cliff, let's jump into it. Episode 1, New Year's Eve. Initial thoughts on this? Anything at all?
So overall, this whole episode, we're just talking about the whole episode. First off, I will just say the music was excellent. We obviously were spoiled. The opening, as the that was like our teaser, kind of the dancing through the hallway thing. Overall, really well choreographed. They've definitely season 1 was very much based on getting people like submerged, like, oh, just get your feet warm, like you'll enjoy it. And they're really embracing the theater kid in everyone. It'll be especially more so. This obviously is cold open, very much like oh yeah, this is theater. Like this is like 2 a.m. after a show in a Denny's, like singing, which was great. And I loved it how it was pretty much one take. Poor Miss Jen not recording it though. But no, this I was very happy to watch this episode. It was even funnier because I was home and I was watching it, and my mom and my brother came in and they're like, "What are you watching?" Because it's High School Musical, the musical series. It's the start of season 2. It's really good. They go, "We don't want to watch this," because it was at the end. They go, at the end they were like, "Just put on High School Musical." I'm like, "You want to watch High School Musical right now?" They're like, "Yeah, we do." So I had to watch High School Musical right after that too. So
That's
just
funny.
a full day of that.
And what I liked about this episode, so part of this is Miss Jen is planning for their next musical, for the spring musical. Obviously, the go-to one that everybody believes, and Miss Jen is not so secretly hiding from people, I guess. It's probably not even just her, too. It's Carlos as well, that they're going to do High School Musical 2 as the spring production. But she runs in to her ex-boyfriend, who is now at a rival school. He was on Broadway, all that stuff, and now he's going to try to put on a rival performance at North High, where they're going to put on, I believe it's Little Mermaid.
Yes, with a 5,000-gallon fish tank or something like that.
Yeah, just completely, and they're going to go for the Alan Menke Awards. I love that they included the Alan Menke Awards in this, because obviously Alan Menke is a Disney legend. But basically, this makes her completely change paths. She wants to one-up her ex-boyfriend from high school, which is a very Miss Jen thing to do. I mean, she was so petty about her role and her performance in High School Musical that's why she came and like lied about her credentials to become the teacher at East High and to put on a play of High School Musical at East High in season 1. So I thought it was a very funny Miss Jen move. But what are your thoughts here?
Yeah. Well, Miss Jen is great. So if people don't know, because I do not, I knew when I Googled them. The actor that is playing her, that's playing Zach Roy, who is her ex-boyfriend, is Derek Huff, best known for Dancing with the Stars. He's like the big dancer. Like him and his sister are the two like big dancers on the show. I thought that was a great choice for someone to bring in, because that also leads, if I don't know if he can sing, but like actually he can, because he played Courtney Collins in the live action Hairspray. So you're having this thing where you can have a very fun ex-lovers song dance battle between him and Miss Jen. So it's setting up to be really good. And I liked the feel more, honestly, of this season than last season, because I think it might be because we're more comfortable with the characters. I thought EJ was very funny because, I mean,
you talk about going to Duke and stuff.
let's talk about how we were acting our senior years of high
Yeah.
school, where it's pretty much like, bye, like I'm not gonna do any of this. Like you're all so young to me, and it's just so funny because like you start watching, you're like, oh, okay, maybe I was kind of like that. Um, and it gets even funnier as it progresses because you can kind of see where it was going. And the way this episode personally ends is just great because it's exactly what you'd expect.
It has more of a high school feel. I know they were in high school last year, obviously that last season, I should say, but this feels like a lot more of like a high school kind of show where like you have the rivalry with the other school. There's a lot more relationship drama. Like Carlos and Seb are together, and Seb feels very like not good about it. I feel like in this relationship, we see it more in episode 2 because Carlos is for money and Seb can't really afford to give him nice things, and Carlos is like, oh my god, you have that nice cashmere sweater, even though Seb is hiding the fact that it's giving him rash. So that's gonna be interesting to see. What I loved about this episode, though, I don't have too much besides it, was the music in it, because even though the obvious choice of what they would do is High School Musical 2, and they're not going to do that, they're going to do Beauty and the Beast, which the cast or the East High students find out at the end of this episode when Miss Jen drops this bombshell that we're not doing High School Musical 2, we're going to do Beauty and the Beast so we can compete for the Mankey Awards for her own personal game. But they still do like the little medley of like the popular High School Musical 2 songs, like when Ricky was doing Bet on It in the basement with Big Red. I thought that was awesome. And then you have was it You Are the Music of Me with the duet between Ricky and Nene right before Nene finally announces to Ricky like, hey, I'm off to this private like prep school. Very, very funny, but also awesome that they still incorporated those High School Musical 2 songs, so you get to hear this cast's version of those. But then we'll obviously get into the Beauty and the Beast stuff soon.
Yeah, for sure. The way it ended just killed me. And it's setting up for a lot of things. Obviously, we'll talk about it with the second episode. But it's like I was just waiting. I'm like, she's holding it back. Like she hasn't told him. I'm like, oh god, this is just going to boil into everything going wrong as always. Again, shout out to Olivia Rodrigo though with Sour.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've listened to it. I love it.
Oh, I have.
It's absolutely incredible. The music in this was great. The second episode song, though, just knocks it like a grand slam out of the park. Like, you're already up 16-0, and you're up against a position player as a pitcher, and you just knock a home run off them with that song.
And the other thing, too, with this, too, that I didn't even bring up yet, was I really thought it was cute, like, the moment that Ricky and Nene have with the Christmas song that Ricky writes to her, and like now Ricky also he finds out that episode like his dad and him are moving. It's unclear if they're gonna stay within like the school zone, that he'll get to stay at East High or not, but he's gonna have to leave his child at home, which obviously has his mom had left, and he gets that nice skateboard from Nene, and that's his first gift he ever remembered getting from his mom. So Ricky is gonna be an interesting character to see this year because he has all this stuff going on, and he's obviously losing his girlfriend too because his girlfriend went to Colorado, right? Colorado, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's where it was.
I think the dad said they were just moving into a smaller apartment.
But yeah, but I didn't get the sense like, is it in the same district or what? Like I didn't know what was going on there.
That's
Hopefully
true.
He's there, so we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, any other thoughts on episode 1, New Year's Eve?
Yeah, you brought up the good thing about Seb being allergic to cashmere. It was very funny, very Seinfeld-ish.
Yes.
I also really like how Seb and Carlos, which are Joe and Frankie, they're dating in real life. So I like that.
Are they really?
Yeah, they are, and which adds a nice little layer of how they get along, and the way this cast works together, it feels very real. Other than that was like the main thing. I thought it was a little weird how they just threw in the like, buckle up Wildcats. I'm like, who are you? We've never met you before.
No, we have. She's the stage director.
Is she? I feel like they need to incorporate her more because I'm like, who are you? But yeah, I thought this was a great opening. It definitely drew me in. But episode 2, I was wishing there was a little bit more, but we'll talk about it. But episode 2, I thought was absolutely incredible.
Yeah, so let's jump into it. The second episode of High School Musical, the musical series, season 2, is called Typecasting. At this point, Nene has gone on to her prep school. She's doing this FaceTime long-distance relationship between her and Ricky. In this episode, Courtney and Carlos and Big Red decide that they're going to join their friends to audition for the stage roles in Beauty and the Beast. Nene is definitely having some FOMO, and the new some new competition shows up at the tryout, and yeah, so we'll talk about it. But obviously, sad to see Ricky and Nene having this long distance relationship through their iPhone. Obviously, you would hope that based off Nene's experience at the school, and we'll talk about that later, that she's going to come back to East High in some way, shape, or form. But I really like the audition scene in this too. We'll talk about all that. But Cliff, your thoughts on this episode before we start?
Yeah, this episode, it was great. I'm just a little disappointed. I was a little disappointed because there's always this fun thing whenever they do like the casting, and we only really got it once, but they usually do a little medley of everyone auditioning awfully, like off key, like can't really do it. And we just didn't really get that. We got one person that couldn't really sing, but I was hoping for like the funny, like in High School Musical 1 when they're all like going for the spring musicale and like they get ready to sing and either they run off stage or they have these funny things. They do the same thing in Pitch Perfect, and I was hoping for that. We didn't get it. I'll live. I just wish we had that. But there was a better message about we don't laugh at people for putting themselves out there. So I do understand it would have gone against the message of this episode.
Yeah, I agree. So let's talk about the audition. So they have to do a group audition where everybody's going to sing the song Belle from Beauty and the Beast, and then each of them get to perform on themselves. So one of the big parts of this episode is that Ashlyn basically writes a song for her and Gianna and Courtney, or Gina, not Gianna, excuse me, Gina and Courtney to sing as their like audition. So instead of doing a solo, they're going to do what they call it, like a treble. I forget what the word is, but Gina really doesn't want to do it at first. She really wants to be by herself and showcase herself because she wants to try to go out for the lead. In the end, she ends up going with them once we have this new girl on the show. Her name is, oh my God, what's her name?
Lily.
Thank you. I lost her for a second. I saw Natalie's name and I was like, that's not her. But we have Lily, who is, for all intents and purposes, she's going to be the bad girl in this episode or in this series, this season. That she makes fun of them for going up there for that. She makes fun of other people for going up there too. I think it was the Big Red when Big Red fell. Mm-hmm. Big Red is auditioning for this as well. What are your thoughts on the auditions?
Ooh, well, I will start with a pro and end with a con. Lily has a beautiful voice.
Unbelievable voice.
I hate her.
Yeah, I hate her character, which is shout out to Olivia Rose Keegan for playing a character we hate. It's a fantastic actor move.
I am going to be interested to see where this goes with her. There's a few ideas, but I loved their rendition of Belle. I do see that it's on Spotify right here. But the song they did together, the three song that was very 1, 2, 3 was so good, and especially the way they did it, where it's like just imagine this, and I'm like, oh, we're about to see it, and then it flashed, and it was them in that, look, and I'm like, this is gonna be good, and it was really good.
Yeah, so for people that didn't, Ashlyn basically says, okay, for this song, like imagine we're wearing this, we're in this setting, and then instead of just showing them up on the stage, like you said, Cliff, they film it as a music video, which is pretty cool, and then you cut back to the stage after everything's done, which that was pretty special to do, and it was a good song, definitely a bop. But yeah, Lily definitely has pipes though, and it was really cool too. One of my favorite things too was one of the students, I think it says Spencer McGonnell here. I don't know if that's like the actor's name or the character's name, I forget. But he sang Ashlyn's song "Wondering," and he wasn't a great singer by any means at all. But seeing how excited Ashlyn was about that was really, really cool because that was the song that she wrote, and she also composed 1, 2, 3, which is what her, Gina, and Courtney all sang together too. So that was pretty cool as well.
Yeah, I was like, where's this song? Like, we heard it before, and then I saw Ashlyn, like, getting very teary-eyed, and I'm like, oh, it was the Miss Darbus song.
Right.
Which was a nice little way to add it in. I think the best part is talking about the casting. Oh, actually, Ricky is the best one to talk about. Ricky bombs.
On purpose.
I don't know. Well, no, he was not going to do it, and then he starts to sing it, and he was singing like you could just tell he didn't want to be there. I think that's more what it was.
See, I thought he was like trying to bomb it so he could at least tell Nene like I tried this and it didn't work out, which would have been crazy. But even though he bombs, he still gets the role of Beast, which is pretty cool.
Before we even
that he
talk
gets
about
that.
who gets
Oh,
what,
sorry, yes.
I just remembered Mr. Mazzara.
Hilarious.
When he confronted Ricky, like, you're just not the kid that does this. And I was watching this episode of Courtney. She's like, how rude. I'm like, but sometimes you need to hear it. Someone
Right.
like Ricky needs to hear, like, yeah, you're not there for the people you need to be there for. Because he hasn't been. What happened when Nene decided to just go to summer camp? Oh,
Right.
we should take a break. He's never there when someone needs to be, but finally, what actually lands him the role is when Big Red falls, he's the only person to go up and help him and give him the confidence to do it, which I thought was very nice. And that shows character development for Ricky, because that's something that he needed.
Yeah, be there for his buddy and really encourage him, and Big Red does awesome. And then we get that nice note from Miss Jen. Big Red is the perfect LeFou or something like that.
He is. Nice. He is absolutely the perfect LeFou.
I want to play a little game here, Cliff.
Oh, God.
So I'm going to say the Beauty and the Beast character, and I'm going to say who you thought it was going to be, like which character would play them, and then we'll say in this podcast, obviously people I'm assuming have watched this, but we'll say who it is.
Okay.
Okay, so Belle.
Obviously, originally I thought it would be Nene, but she left to go to a different school, so that doesn't count. I honestly thought they were going to give it to Lily. I'm very proud of Miss Jen for not giving Lily a role because of how rude she was.
That was
cool. That was very cool. Do you want to do we'll do it all at the end?
Who the actual is? Yeah. So I thought Belle was going to be even when season 1 ended and they announced Beauty and the Beast was going to be the musical that they were going to do, I thought it was going to be Gina, personally.
Okay.
Now the Beast, who did you think that was going to be? I'm assuming based off your first answer, you thought it was going to be Ricky, potentially?
So here's my thing that is kind of funny. Just knowing, just knowing how these casting things go, I was like, none of these guys can be Beast. None of these guys, fit what Beast is, which is just really funny to me. So my only thing was gonna be it's gonna end up being Ricky again. That was my only thing. So I'm like, no one really fits what Beast should be, but if it's gonna be anyone, it has to be Ricky.
I thought it was gonna be EJ. I thought it was gonna be Gina as Belle and EJ as Ricky. So you get that difference of okay, Nene and Ricky were the stars of this show, so now EJ and Gina are gonna be the stars of this show.
I thought that originally too, but I'm guessing I know who your next one is gonna be, and that's why I cannot make EJ Beast. So
then Gaston, I thought EJ is obviously the perfect Gaston when I thought about it.
Perfect.
But I thought they were going to do Ricky because I did think that was going to be. So okay, I'm assuming you said Gaston.
EJ just makes so much sense because he has the same voice.
Yeah,
and he's the biggest one, and he's the biggest one. So it just made so much sense.
How about LeFou?
LeFou, absolutely Big Red.
Yeah, I assumed he was going to after his awesome tap dancing in the last one. Did you have any idea about Lumiere?
Yes. Carlos. Or wait.
I thought it was
no.
Seb.
Actually, no. Actually, if we ignore my Beast comment, I originally thought Ricky would be the perfect Lumiere.
Interesting.
Okay. I thought that's what he would have fit very well for.
Very fair. And then how about Mrs. Potts? I figured that was going to be Courtney because after she did so well in the last series or the last season, where she got to be Gabriella for a little bit, I thought she was going to play I didn't think she'd be Belle, but I thought she would be Mrs. Potts.
Okay, wait,
no, I didn't. No, I didn't. I thought that was going to be Ashlyn. What an idiot. I'm so sorry.
That's my thing. I thought Courtney was going to be Belle, and I thought Ashlyn was going to be Mrs. Potts.
Okay, gotcha. And then what about Chip?
I didn't even really think of Chip.
That's
the thing. Right off the bat, though, I'm like, if you're talking about singing, dancing, and all this, the perfect plumette, the feather duster, would be Gina. I was just watching. I'm like, this makes too much sense for this to happen. And then, are we missing? We didn't get a Cogsworth casted.
Yeah, so I'm interested to see if they actually do that.
I thought Carlos would have been the perfect Cogsworth because of how OCD he is, how anal retentive he is about everything. He just fits that character so well.
Yeah. Should we get to who actually was cast?
Yes, let's do it. Let's start.
So starring in the role as Belle, and I want to talk about this real quick, was Ashlyn, which was really great. You could see how awesome she is in the first season. You saw how great she was during the rehearsals in this, in the not rehearsals, I guess, but the auditions, I should say, for this, I was interested to see, because obviously Gina really wanted to be the star. She doesn't seem too upset that she wasn't picked as Belle. So I'm interested to see if she is later, because she seemed pretty happy when they were at the pizza parlor with who she got. We'll talk about it in a second. But I'm very happy for Ashlyn. I think that's really cool that she gets to be Belle.
Very happy with it. I'm excited to see it, and the whole thing about this was kind of breaking out. It was partially breaking out of typecasts.
Yeah.
But mostly everyone else got typecast.
Right.
Because Ashlyn, obviously in her mind, she was like, "I'm the perfect Mrs. Potts." Like,
she had the
don't
Disney bound suit and everything for it.
That was very funny.
That was wicked funny.
Where she was really the only one that didn't get typecast.
Yeah, I would say so. Next, we got the Beast, was Ricky.
It makes the most sense.
Yeah,
you only have 3 guys. You have 5 guys going for it, but you knew exactly who was going for Beast.
Yeah.
There were 2 of them, but EJ, actually only one person went for Beast anyway.
Yeah, because EJ skipped out because he wanted to do a more minor role because he's prepared to go to Duke. So EJ is going to be Gaston.
Yeah, minor role. Just the head, just the lead villain.
Mrs. Potts is going to be played by Courtney.
I'm so excited to hear Dara Renee sing Beauty and the Beast.
Absolutely. That's
so
going to be
excited.
really good.
It's going to be beautiful.
Seb is going to be Chip, which I think is perfect.
It doesn't get much easier than that.
Yeah.
The only real one I complain... Well, Gina is going to be Plumette, the feather duster.
Babette, isn't it?
Pipette, yes, Pipette. I always...
No, is it Babette? Like B-A-B?
Is it Babette? Is it Babette? Oh,
yeah.
Babette.
That's the thing, is I didn't even think about that being a character that they would do. So I'm interested. That seems like a very minor role, so I'm interested to see how they do that in this. And Gina is cast as her.
Gina is cast as her, and then
Big
we have
and
then Seb is Chip.
Which is
and Carlos is Lumiere.
And Carlos is Lumiere, yes. So
the only
have a Cogsworth. Yeah.
That's what's weird to me.
Comes back. Does Nene become Cogsworth? Like that'd be kind of funny. I don't know, but
my thought should have been Seb was Lumiere and Carlos was Cogsworth, and it would have been a very funny banter between them. But I'm guessing we're also going to see some issues between them. I'm guessing we're going to see relationship issues stem.
Yeah.
I also want to add, did you get the feeling in episode 1 that Gina still liked Ricky?
Yes, 100%.
Okay. I forgot it, yeah.
Yeah.
This is going to be, Ricky's just getting all the girls.
I'm terrified for my guy Ricky. My guy Ricky needs to keep a head on his shoulders. He has a wonderful girl back in Colorado. Like, Ricky, just stay on track here, buddy.
Stay on track.
Don't do what you did the first time, and just let that go away. You can't do that again.
Stay on track. But I think the biggest winner of episode 2 is Miss Jen, because there was something in season 1 with Miss Jen that was focused around creating the best show possible.
Yeah.
And that didn't happen.
No.
But they created the best show for them. And it was about bringing out the best in so many people, which she did. She made it so Nene could be someone that was not just a backup role, an understudy.
Right.
And that's what Miss Jen learned. And then when she's presented with this actress in Lily, that's the perfect person for what you need. You just lost your lead girl that literally looks like Belle. Like Nene
and literally, so what are your thoughts on Lily's backstory? Because she messaged something to Gina like, "Oh, this is my first time doing theater, but like local theater." Because Gina was like, "Wow, you have a voice." I think she was like a Broadway actress. This is gonna be her backstory.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I want to finish my Miss Jen thing, because Miss Jen was all about creating the perfect center stage spotlight, and then she loses her star in Nene, and is now given this girl in Lily that is perfect for the stage. Mm-hmm. But she is just vicious. She is mean, everything, and she decides, I'm not even giving this girl a role, because in our group we don't do that.
Yeah,
and that just showed so much improvement from Miss Jen. That's who you want as you're running your drama department.
For sure.
It sounds like Lily is gonna probably end up being Ariel in the other one, because she at the end of it.
At the end of it, they're at the pizza place at Mrs. Big Red's pizza place is what I'm going to call it. And you see her stalking them outside, watching them through the window, and she's calling North High. So, assumption, she's going to transfer. She's going to become Ariel. I hope we get to see the Little Mermaid side of the house of this stuff. I want to see the big picture.
So do I.
I really want to see it. But put Disney put your money where your mouth is. But that's when she mentioned to Nene, like, oh yeah, like this is my first like local production. I thought that was like a sign, like we're gonna find out she's like a Broadway actress to team up with the North High Broadway drama department head. So pretty fun first 2 episodes. Any final thoughts on those, Cliff? I'm interested to see where they go. I believe this season, I believe, is gonna be like about like 10 or 12 episodes from what I've read.
It's going to be 12 episodes.
12 episodes. So we've got plenty more of High School Musical. Again, I don't think we'll make this a weekly thing, but maybe every other week we'll just check in with High School Musical and our friends at East High. But any final thoughts here, Cliff?
What team?
Wildcats.
What team?
Wildcats.
What team?
All right, that's it.
Get your head in the game. All right, no, it's good. I am excited. I'm very sad I have to wait week to week.
That was the beauty of last time when we did like the 2 episodes where we did the first half and the second half. We just got to binge it all, and that was perfect.
I know.
But now I'm invested in these characters. I can't wait to see what all these like actors do with their careers after this. I mean, Olivia Rodrigo is obviously killing it right now. Bassett's killing it right now too. But yeah.
Well, it's so weird because all these characters. It's very funny seeing a lot of these characters because if you follow them, I don't think I follow any of them actually.
Our account follows.
Our account definitely follows them. I think I follow Olivia Rodrigo since Driver's License, but like obviously we know where Joshua Bassett is. He's starting to become a music guy also. Olivia Rodrigo has her first album. Matt Cornett hasn't really like taken off yet, but I could picture him doing really well. We'll add a little bit of like, where do we think? Julia Lester supposedly has been on that like show Mom for a long time, and she's been in a lot of things. I think this was just her first like big thing as a teenager.
Sure.
Sophia Wiley is, I think, the youngest out of all of them. I think she's only 16, and she is like already a model though. Like she's already like a clothing model and stuff like that. So there's all these things.
They're all going to be super successful.
Obviously, Kate Reinders was a Broadway, Chicago Broadway actress. She was Glinda in one of the Wickeds on Chicago. So it's gonna be so interesting to see where it goes because a lot of these people were like slightly established. Obviously, this was Olivia Rodrigo's really second big thing after Bizarre
Mm-hmm.
So it's just so interesting to see where it's gonna go because it's so much fun to say that because so many people didn't watch the first season of High School Musical, the musical, the series. So you and I got to be like, oh, we saw them before they became big because this is before any of them.
We weren't even on the ground floor either, though.
We were not on the ground floor. We were on like the first floor.
Right. But we got there.
We got there. It's just so funny because it's like the hipster thing. Like we were there before it was cool because we were watching it before any of these. I'm not going to say kids because a lot of them are over 18. I don't want to disrespect them. A lot of these teens were just starting to take off, and it's just so cool to see it. It's not like you're watching them grow up, but it's like you're watching them become very famous, which is just so cool. And you don't really get to say that. Obviously, Daisy Ridley got like her big start in Star Wars, and the same with a few of the other actors. But like this is like ones that they're very close in age to us, where it's like this is cool. Like you see them, just get better at acting and singing, which is just fun to do.
Yeah, it's really special. It's really cool to see, especially like I said, 5-10 years down the line, if these people are hosting like sold out concerts at Gillette Stadium or something like that, or the Garden one day, like it'll be like, oh yeah, like we remember them from High School Musical when they like were belting out these beautiful songs and showing off their pipes. And
what are you talking about? The Sour Tour is going to be selling out Gillette Stadium in a year.
I know. But
yeah,
exactly. Any final thoughts before we wrap up for today?
I don't know where this is going, but I'm excited. I'm excited to go along for the ride.
Yeah, by the time people are listening to this, it's Friday. The 3rd episode of High School Musical, the musical, the series, season 2 is out. Be sure to watch it. We know we will be. It looks like it's going to involve Valentine's Day. We'll see what happens with that. But Cliff, where can they find you on social media if they want to talk to you about this, Star Wars, whatever they want to talk about Disney Plus with you?
Whatever you want, at CP Robinson81 on everything.
You can find me on Twitter at CamRainbows95. You can find the podcast on Twitter also at Stream the Mouse. You can find us on Instagram and Facebook at Streaming with the Mouse. On our website, cprob.com/streaming with the mouse. And you can find us wherever you get your podcasts from Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Be sure to like, rate, review, and subscribe to our podcast. Make sure you tell your friends about it. Follow us on social media so we get as many listeners as we can. But Cliff, thanks so much for having this conversation. Again, this was just a quick little episode talking about the first 2 episodes. We'll check in a couple other times throughout this season. But very exciting stuff, very cool. These kids are so talented, way more talented than I'll ever be in my life. So shout out to them.
Oh,
But
stop!
Cliff,
You could act.
oh God, from Cliff, I'm Cam. Have a magical day, everyone. Go Wildcats!
Bye, guys.
Awesome.